Welcome back to the Tesla Powerwall 3 Masterclass, brought to you by Penrith Solar Centre. This is lesson 2, single phase versus 3-phase installations of the Tesla Powerwall 3. Here's what we're going to cover in this lesson. Your home is connected to the electrical grid. Single phase versus 3-phase. Batteries don't have phases. Powerwall 3 installations on single-phase homes. Powerwall 3 installations on 3-phase homes. And how energy companies meter your usage in conjunction with the Powerwall 3. Your home is connected to the electrical grid. An introduction on how the electrical grid and phases work in Australia. In Australia, particularly Western Sydney, we're lucky enough to have the grid running through all of our streets, and it's not really a big effort for us to connect to the electrical grid. It's almost a given that we're going to have power available to connect to. So what exactly makes up this power? Well, the low voltage network in particular will usually have 4 wires running around your streets. Those wires are made up of an A-phase conductor, a B-phase conductor, and a C-phase conductor, and of course a neutral conductor. And explaining on how your house is connected to the grid is as easy as A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. If you are house number 1 in the street and your home is a single phase home, you should be connected to A phase. If your house is number 2 in the street and you're single phase, you'll be connected to B phase. And you guessed it right, if you're house number 3, you should be connected to C phase. This pattern reoccurs all the way up until 9 and then starts again at 11. For house number 10, 20 and 30, 10 will be connected to A phase, 20 will be connected to B phase, and 30 will be connected to C phase. Now, of course, we are assuming that all homes are single phase, which is not the case. In fact, around 50% of homes are actually 3-phase. So if you're house number 6 and if you were 3-phase, you would be connected to all 3 phases. Number 7 will start again at A phase. It won't matter if your neighbors are single phase or 3-phase. That rule applies. Most electricians don't actually even know that that rule exists. I was fortunate enough to do my apprenticeship at Endeavour Energy, where every day we connected homes to the grid. Your grid connection is proportional to the inverter capacity that you have available on your home. If you have a single phase home in New South Wales, you can generally have up to 10 kilowatts of inverter capacity. For 3-phase homes, you can have up to 30 kilowatts of inverter capacity. Powerwall 3's role in grid stabilization. Powerwall 3, with its impressive and powerful inbuilt inverter, will be the battery of choice when homeowners want to take part in a virtual power plant, or VPP. When stability or energy are needed in the grid, the Powerwall 3 can provide energy at the blink of an eye, and you, the homeowner, can capitalize on lucrative financial remuneration via a virtual power plant. There are a lot of virtual power plants in Australia, all operated by energy retailers. And how they work is that in times of trauma or struggle for the grid, they will call on your battery if, of course, you are participating in a virtual power plant program. Some of these virtual power plants have very lucrative financial remuneration, meaning that for every kilowatt hour they take out of your battery, you can earn up to $1 per kilowatt hour for the energy that you've traded to the grid. If you've got a 10 kilowatt hour inverter capacity like the Powerwall 3, that means you can gain up to $10 an hour by discharging your Powerwall 3 into the grid. Now, not everyone wants to participate in virtual power plants, but if you are interested in participating in a virtual power plant and making a lucrative amount of money out of the energy retailer, then the Powerwall 3 is the choice for you. Single phase versus 3-phase connections. Single phase homes have one active conductor. It's 230 volts and one neutral conductor powering the home. So if you have an overhead connection and you can see two wires running into your home, there's a very high chance that your home is a single phase home. And whilst you can't have as much inverter capacity on your home, single phase homes do have one small benefit that we'll touch on later down in the course. Two-phase homes. Two-phase homes are actually very rare in New South Wales, but if you have a two-phase home, it means that it has two active conductors, which are 230 volt phase to neutral and 400 volt phase to phase. And your home will also have one neutral conductor powering the home, meaning if you have an overhead connection, it's very likely that you'll see three wires running into your home. And if your home is like 50% of homes in New South Wales, you'll have a three-phase connection. You'll have three active wires, which are 230 volt phase to neutral and 400 volt when measuring phase to phase. And you'll have one neutral conductor powering the home, which means if you look up and you see four wires coming into your home, it's not a given, but it's very likely that you have a three-phase connection coming into your home. Three-phase homes support bigger loads and balance the grid evenly. You can also have larger inverter capacities on your home, whereas single-phase homes support smaller loads in the home. Batteries, against popular opinion, don't actually have phases. A solar industry myth is that batteries have phases. The truth is that batteries don't have phases. Just like solar panels, they are just DC energy. The energy produced by a battery will only become 230 volt single phase or 400 volt three phase once it passes through a battery inverter. Until then, it's nothing but dumb DC energy. Most battery inverters are single phase. The Tesla Powerwall 3's inbuilt solar and battery inverter is an 11.04 kilowatt single phase inverter. In most applications in Australia, you're going to see the Powerwall that you get be restricted to 10 kilowatts of inverter capacity. Now, just because the inverter is a single phase inverter, it doesn't mean that it won't work perfectly fine on a three-phase home. In fact, the Powerwall 3 is still one of the greatest solutions for three-phase homes. Powerwall 3 installation on single-phase homes. A match made in heaven. It's no mistake that Powerwall 3's inverter capacity is 10 kilowatts, once restricted of course. This inverter capacity ensures that single-phase homes are leaving no inverter capacity on the table. More inverter capacity quite simply means more power for homeowners. Full home backup. Tesla Powerwalls have been known for reliability and power delivery when it's needed most. Powerwall 3 now allows single-phase homes to have the entire house backed up, so you can power through any storm. Solar capacity on single-phase homes. The Powerwall 3 has unlocked up to 20 kilowatts of solar on a single-phase home, thanks to its generous 200% oversized PV ratio. We have not seen anything like this in Australia ever. A solar battery with a 200% DC ratio. This means single-phase homes can now have solar systems that we would have only dreamed on installing on three-phase homes in the past. Powerwall 3 installations on two- and three-phase homes. Selected circuit backup. Powerwall 3 on multi-phase homes, whether it be two or three-phase homes, can back up essential circuits, ensuring that the lights stay on at all times. When we pick out essential circuits for homes, what we look for is, of course, lighting. Lighting is really important in a blackout. We'll find your favorite power points for you, and we'll keep the fridge and internet on too. So if you have a three-phase home and you're planning on installing a Powerwall 3, make sure you've got your favorite power points picked out and ready to go for the day of installation. Multiple power walls on multiple phases. Power walls seamlessly operate across multi-phase homes, utilizing net metering to ensure the entire home is powered by Powerwall at all times when the grid is connected. More phases, more power. Enjoy up to 60 kilowatts of solar on a 3-phase home and 40 kilowatts on a 2-phase home. All this power whilst keeping under the DNSP's limit of 30 kilowatts of inverter capacity. That is all thanks to Tesla's generous 200% oversizing feature with the DC ratio to the inverter capacity. Smart software unlocking more applications. Powerwall 3's inverter can be software locked to 5 kilowatts to ensure that it complies with all Australian DNSPs and phase imbalance rules. In Australia and Western Sydney, our DNSP Endeavour Energy in particular has a 5 kilowatt phase imbalancement rule. Now I'm quite sure that it's the same across most of Australia, meaning that if you have a 3-phase home, you have to have within 5 kilowatts inverter capacity on each phase. Here's an example for you. If you have 10 kilowatts on A phase, 10 kilowatts on B phase, and 0 on C phase, that is non-compliant. But if you had 10 kilowatts on A phase, 10 kilowatts on B phase, and 5 kilowatts on C phase, the imbalance phase to phase is only a maximum of 5 kilowatts. This would be legal and compliant. Thanks to Powerwall's smart software, it means that Powerwall 3 can be installed in any application. Net metering and the Powerwall 3. Smart meters and net metering do more than we think. Powerwall 3 relies on your energy retailer supplied smart meter to operate to its full potential. The net meter on a 3-phase site will ensure that the single-phase Powerwall is able to supply the energy to all loads on a 3-phase home. This process is done by net metering. Net metering is the net result of an energy transaction, whether it be buying or selling, at the home's point of connection or supply with the grid. You are charged for the net energy transaction, whether the net result is that you are exporting energy to the grid or the net result is that you are buying energy in. 3-phase homes really rely on net metering to ensure that the Powerwall is able to supply all 3 phases of your home at any given time. Thank you for joining us on Lesson 2, single-phase versus 3-phase connections with Powerwall 3. Lesson number 3 is going to be challenges and limitations with installing the Powerwall 3. We'll see you there.